February 28th. This meeting, just want to first acknowledge that we're on the traditional territory of the Sycus First Nation, and that's on their land that we live, work, and play each day. You have an agenda in front of you. Is there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, can we have a motion to approve the agenda? Favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, I'm going to do this in two different sets because I want to explain. Well, tell you what, corporate officer, can you explain 3.3 and then we can just adopt all the minutes as presented?
It was a oversight / technical glitch. When these minutes were adopted in item 12.2, the new sidewalk and parking on Victoria Street, the last two that's were omitted from the minutes because they didn't make it through the software. So that apart from that council direct staff to prepare a policy, that one, and that council direct staff to prepare a policy, the second one, they were omitted for the minutes when they were adopted. So this is just adopting the amended minutes with the correction.
So can I have a motion to adopt the February 14th minutes, the February 22nd minutes, and the September 27th? So I'll second it. Any questions? Comments? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Is there any business that anybody wants? Okay, seeing none. We have one delegation today, and that's Work BC. Come on up and maybe grab an extra chair there and just move it up to that desk there.
Okay, I'll do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the invite. My name is Ash Thaler. I'm the employer liaison with Work BC and a case manager. And
I'm Robin Work, and I'm the general manager for Work BC.
We're here because we met with our mayor a few weeks before, and we presented a little report that we did based on the national stating what were those top 10 jobs in year 2021. And Mayor Thiessen requested us to come and present here, and we had a few questions from you guys that we have some answers for that. So we have prepared, and I'll just introduce a little bit about what we do in the office. So we help all unemployed British Columbians navigate through to find a sustainable employment. There are different categories, different services that we could offer. It could all start from coming in and helping them from developing an email, resume, cover letter, up to wage subsidy skills training. There are various services, time-based, and they're here for different, but mostly it's through our office. We have a huge self-serve area where an individual can walk in and do their job search. We have all the resources. We have library data. We keep all the educational and different organization information as well. So that's what we do in a nutshell. Robin, would you like to?
Sure. So Ash had brought this list of top 10 vacancies, and I believe that you all have in an email this information here. So in a nutshell, basically what we have done since 2014 is to track the job vacancies in our region, in our catchment. So when I say catchment, it's our like the communities we cover. We have offices in Fraser Lake, which is an itinerant office. We have office in Burns Lake, Port St. James, and we also serve out at Natalie when required. So we do have a number of offices that we are gathering this type of information from. Basically, we're trying to get job postings, all gathered in one place for our job seekers. But what we also do is actually track the information within those job postings. We track the job title, the employer, the wage if they give that type of information. And we find that it's really good labor market information, obviously to share with the community. We work quite closely with the college. They will often ask for, specific reports of this type of information and, to help us, lend support to their program initiatives. And so we're always happy to do that. Now, it's not perfect information. It's not, it's just vacancies. It doesn't indicate whether they've been filled or not. But we certainly gather the vacancy information from every source possible, from social media, from Facebook. Even though Brian's not on there, we're still we're always checking social media. We're checking the job banks. Also, we have employers who just approach us directly and ask us to put up their job posting. So we get it from a variety of sources, and it's imperfect, but I think it's really still quite valuable information for decision making. So that's essentially kind of what's there. We're definitely can answer any other questions that you folks have. I know one of the questions was whether an employer has to register and absolutely not. It's just whatever we find, out in the job search universe is what we put up there. So if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to ask.
I think that's one of the good features of Facebook is being able to host these things. And maybe Robin, you could explain what a vacancy means. Like when I see Northern Health 192 or whatever it is in the smaller one, is that a week? Is that 192 positions have been advertised, or how does that work?
Well, what it would mean is 192 vacancy postings have been put out there. So what we don't always know for sure is whether that's been filled before they repost it or not. So sometimes they will multiply, do a posting, say 3 or 4 times because they're not finding a candidate. But other employers may be posting 3 or 4 times because they are just filling multiple positions. So we can't really delineate which is which. But yeah, vacancy is essentially anytime someone posts a job. That's
okay. So it's a job, not a time frame to a job. Okay.
Yeah.
But is this covering the span of, say, a year, or is it covering the span of a month? Is it like, what would those 293 vacancies or whatever it is be carried under?
So for this information that was shared, that was for the whole year of 2021. So yeah, January, December.
And then the Vanderhoof vacancies that we have, or based on the knock codes that we have provided you. So I can just quickly go. We have explained, because it's kind of difficult to mug up all the categories, but like if you look at the top one, it says 4212 social and community service workers. So in Vanderhoof in year 2021, we had roughly 95 jobs that were posted within that category, and that category is huge. So like it could be, so you have it on, it says social and community service worker administer and implement a variety of social assistance programs in community services and assess clients to deal with personal and social problems. So they could be employed with an individual contractor, government bodies, and list of some of the job titles below. So that's how we categorize. And so there were 95 of those. And for transport truck drivers, there were approximately 39 that we recorded. For admin assistant, there was 36 that we recorded. Again, this is for Vanderhoof only. For retail salesperson that we recorded was 30. For food counter attendants and kitchen helper, we recorded 27. Cooks, 20. Cashier, 18. Nurses, 8, and patient service associates, 17. General office support workers, 17. Medical administrative assistant, 16. And there was another 16 that we didn't add it in there, and that was for heavy equipment operators. So these are, again, as we said, we have very many search engines that we go. We have, like, for bigger companies like Canfor, Co-op, and others, we directly go to their website and track all the job postings. And these what we found. And could be multiply posted, but there were a lot of vacancies. So when I was not in the office today, so I don't know what's for today, but last week there were over 200 jobs posted in Vanderhoof, and that's including Northern Health, Career County, like all the different school district as well, all the different sectors, and that's just for Vanderhoof. And we just wanted to do this little project, just to bring it out to you if in case if this helps you in certain things that you might be planning for in projects and whatnot. Because certainly we have employers knocking our door all the time saying, hey, we have a job posting. We post it on our bulletin boards, we post it on our social media. We help them share that information as much as we can. We even have a bulletin board at Co-op Mall. But there are lots.
And it's very important, I want everyone to know too, that if there's any of this information you'd like more of a drill down into, some more specific data on, I'm always happy to, just give me a call. I'll leave some of my business cards here and definitely happy to share any kind of specified information you need.
Yeah, I just had a question about how you work with CNC, because I'm looking at the social and community service workers category, and it looks to me like there's a lot of vacancies and a lot of need in that area. So I'm just wondering how you work with CNC to help the community meet that need as far as education.
For sure, and then certainly this listing and this information we've given you folks, it's also been shared with the college, and I sit on the regional advisory council at the local college, so that's another opportunity for me to, share that type of information as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're right next door to us, so we tend to.
Landlord, so.
Yeah, they're our landlord too. Definitely have to give them the information they want.
All right, thank you.
And there were a few questions that came to us, and we tried to answer. So I'll just read. So how does WorkBC gather this data? We collect this databases on the job posted within our offices, on WorkBC job board, local business website, Indeed, social media platforms. There was another question says, do the businesses have to register with them to get their vacancies recorded? Yes, no registration is not required, but if they have to post it on the job bank or workbc.ca, then they have to do it themselves. I'm not sure smaller businesses are captured in the WorkBC totals. We try to capture as many businesses, and we are like, there is a lot of employers that approach us all the time, but we can say we are 100%, on that.
It's never gonna be 100% because certainly not all employers are posting their vacancies publicly anyway, right? So.
And there was a question says also how many of these vacancies are COVID related, no vaccines and serve benefit. So we don't have these information with us. Another question was just for clarification, are these current vacancies or posting that went out and some that may have been filled so far, is it a total for the year? These knocks were total for 2021, and some of those are still ongoing. Some might be filled as compared to the report because we did that quite long ago, a month before it. Shortage due to lack of training, qualification, or simply no applicants. So
All of the above.
All of the above. It could be all of the above. Is there breakdown somewhere for just Vanderhoof? We have provided that in the attachment. Will there be an update in next 6 months? I'm wondering about impact from industry changes. So yes, we could do a report if you guys need it. Just give us a call. We could do that. And there was I think we have a lot of questions, especially with Canfor announcement. We need to know what we need in Vanderhoof compared to neighboring towns so that we can get educational dollar. So that's a very open question, but would you like to answer?
If the working group that's potentially being formed to look at this issue, we will be involved with that and be able to share the information with them directly for sure.
The meeting we lean with Brad McRobert and Ken. When is that? I don't see it on my.
March 4th, yeah.
I think.
1 o'clock.
Is it 1 o'clock or 11?
What I don't have Gerald's phone with me, but it's in Gerald's phone calendar.
Okay, yeah. So I think that will be important for us, to make sure that we're all on the same, wavelength. We understand what the need is. I think there's lots of questions everybody has, exactly what is happening and where that goes. I think the other question is when you talk to CNC, there were a number of things on the list that were much different than the catchment area. For instance, cashiers, general office, medical, administrative. They were all things that weren't the same on the general catchment. And you've identified, where more of a need for Vanderhoof. So do you get reception from CNC to make sure we have the right courses for the right community?
Yeah, and that's certainly something that we talk about at the advisory committee level is, making sure that this information that they have for each of their campuses is relevant to that community. Because yeah, there is definitely differences even within a short distance between communities in terms of what the labor market demands are. But we're definitely communicating all of that information.
Yeah, no, I think that's something that we need to know when we go into those advisory meetings, is because if it's not, if it's an issue here, but it's not in Fort St. James or Burns Lake, there's no sense having the course up there. We need it here, to meet the need of what we're going through.
Absolutely, yeah.
And another thing, when we were doing this, or even during our last year, we have heard, we found out a lot of those, out of those 200 plus jobs, I would say good 60 to 80 jobs are very high skill. That includes school district, Northern Health Service organizations and all. And not sure how many we could fill it locally, but there are opportunities for somebody from outside Vanderhoof to come in. And then sometimes they can't come in because they can't find a place or something. So that has been brought to us by Co-op and other organizations as well.
So when you have someone like Centerra Gold, Milligan, whose numbers do they come under? Like they say they have 65 vacancies. Do they register with you? And if they do, who do those numbers go under? And I guess my question is, we've been meeting with Artemis Gold, and they're starting their hiring process. And so is Centerra in the Fort St. James numbers, or are they in the catchment numbers?
They're in the Fort St. James numbers, yeah.
They're in the Fort St. James numbers.
The catchment is the sum of all those communities together, so yeah, anything within the region.
If I can just ask, and it's probably, I don't know how difficult it is to get the numbers together, but these are numbers that I think we can go forward with a lot of the organizations that we try to deal with. I think the Chamber of Commerce is one place, and so is the college, but talking to Minister Kang with Advanced Ed and Minister Callon with Jobs and Innovation, and Minister Baines from Labor, having data behind us now will help with, immigration is going to be big in Canada. So you put that together with the migration of people wanting to get out of urban centers like Vancouver and the Lower Mainland. If we can use these not only job titles, but the vacancies that we have, I'm not promising that we're going to fill every one of them, but it gives us something when we go down to Victoria, or we go, and when the mayor's talking to any one of the ministers now, you can say there's 293 this, or there's 50 class 1 drivers needed in just our area. They may know that, but at least he can go, or we can go in with more specific data. So I think this is good. If it's every quarter, I think an update every quarter or every 6 months is fantastic, because we would use the data that you provide. So we appreciate it.
I just want to back up, and I know this is just a minutia piece, but I've just been wondering, I've been fixated on this, where you said you didn't know internal postings. So, like Northern Health and School District 91, I know there's internal postings and external. And so often there'll be an internal posting and it won't be filled, then it'll go external. So would that be kind of used twice all the time for these numbers, or do we know?
If it's separate postings, yeah, it's hard for us to sort of do that delineation. But what I was referring to also, like, you know, a lot of employers just verbally, hey, you know, someone might want to jump in here. So that we can't track that, obviously. But it's, like I said, it's not a perfect science. You know, if they posted it internally and they revoked that posting and then posted it externally, it may get counted twice. So, yeah, I really can't,
But mostly with school district, we know we track all that external job posting. We have made a special, like, within our self-serve area, we have a folder says Northern Health School District. We keep that.
So you know less of the internal, but more of the external.
it is, yeah, we actually don't really post internal stuff because obviously
It's internal.
majority of our clients aren't eligible for it. So, yeah.
And I'm sure there's far more external because internally we just can't fill them. So it's, I know the postings just where I work this year, we're in the dozens already at this point that
Well,
we've fill and not been able to fill, et cetera. So
this job market is unprecedented. I've been doing this for 20 some years and never ever seen it like this. It's really to have employers contacting us in panic off.
Mhm. Excellent.
I'm trying to tell people they can't retire for 5 more years, but not going over well.
You could hire me.
Qualified people.
Oh, qualified people. Now you put that over.
Any further questions? I think what you're hearing is that there's a real desire for you to come in on a quarterly basis or something, and just to do an update like this. I think it's so important. You know, if we're going to succeed as a community, this kind of information, and like Councilor Franklin said, is to be able to go to the minister and when you're not just saying, we need a whole pile of truck drivers, but you can say, hey, yeah, we need 78, you know, then we've got something that we can.
Absolutely.
And another reason, like, we're working very closely with Artemis Gold as well, you know, trying to help them out with their hiring needs. And we just want to make sure that we accommodate and try to help support training or hiring as much local as we can to Artemis Gold. And, you know, something that is aware to the council as well, so that, you know, we don't miss that bus and we have people working from outside. I mean, there will be a lot, but that was our.
Yeah, we want to maximize the opportunities for Vanderhoof people as much as possible with things like Artemis Gold as they ramp up.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, have a good evening.
Okay, council reports. We can start with Councilor Siemens.
Okay, so I got a few things. They're a little older just because I haven't been to a regular meeting here in a little bit. So on the 24th of January, I was at the C2C meeting. On January 26th, I was at strategic planning. February 7th, I was CAN for Old Growth Deferrals meeting. And then on February 9th, me and Councillor Young had our inaugural tourism committee meeting. And then just one last thing about the committee that I chair, the last committee that still hasn't had a meeting. We finally have one scheduled for, I think it's the 10th of March. So finally got schedules to work. So attraction retention will start on the 10th. So that's encouraging. It's been a bit of a preparation, but finally got to it. Actually meet, so it's good. So that's where I got it.
Super. Councilor Franklin.
I do want to mention that I attended the UBCM board meeting from the 16th to the 18th. I think it's important to let everybody know that the community economic development committees and the resolutions committees that I sit on are moving a lot of information, trying to move through the system. And it would be interesting to get the Compass article out to each of you, because I think UBCM feels they have everybody covered, but I think it just comes into the corporate office and doesn't go out to everyone. So I've been sending it the last 3 or 4 times, But if that's something that we could talk to UBCM on and get that so that you see all of the work that's being done. And I spent a year there and I didn't realize what wasn't happening. So, but we should have been getting that stuff. February 22nd, attended the RCMP meeting with council. I thought it was good. And then February 25th was MP Todd Doherty. And then today was the Respectful Workplace Workshop at noon, which was good. I'm glad we did that. I'm glad that we're looking to have that for the newly elected as well. So that was a good call. Yeah.
Eileen, do you have a comment?
I just wanted to say for the UBCM Compass newsletter, I had assumed all council would subscribe. Next time I get it, I'll forward it to you. And at the very bottom, there's a subscribe button and it goes straight to you because it's always hyperlinks, right? So putting it on the reading file isn't always great. And then you'll get it as soon as it comes out. So I can do that the next time one comes out.
Excellent. Councillor Young.
Okay, I can't remember if I report on this. I think we had, but it was, as Councillor Siemens did, we had our inaugural meeting on the 9th for tourism. It was a really good meeting. And some really excited individuals on board right now. So that's good to see. Housing meeting, I forget the date we had our housing meeting.
Our housing meeting was February the 16th.
Yeah, okay. It was 15th, but close. I'll let Councillor Lozay speak about that, but it was very, very productive. Actually, I think we had the one guest speak most of the time. Asked a lot of questions, some very interesting piece there we need to follow up with at some point there. On the 22nd, on the 22nd, the primary care collaboration team that talked about focusing now mostly on the recruiting piece, really understanding, it goes back to what we're talking about right here tonight about vacancies and possibilities going forward. They're still wrestling with the idea around that of housing rent, etc. So those are the two key pieces they're focusing on. I think everyone on council received that report. I forwarded. Did you see the report from 2 years back or 3 years back when we had the community meeting? You should have got a summary of that. And I talked about, possibilities. And I was really hoping attraction retention would have a good look at that as well, because there were some good suggestions that came out of that and for council to review. On the 22nd, I think most everyone went on the tour of the VCC with Darren Dick and the contractors. I was in the second group. That was a much better, more thorough presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Dick over there. RCMP and DOB discussion on the 22nd. Really good conversation there. I think we really came to understand some challenges and fleshed it out quite well. February 26th with Todd Doherty. And then tomorrow we'll be having our second tourism meeting. So we're just on a roll. Number 2.
Okay. So February 15th, I attended a library board meeting, and I just wanted to share that Jen, our chief librarian, just completed a certification with dementiability, so she can create and lend out cognitive care kits to people who have loved ones with dementia. So I think it's really cool that the library is trying to partner with the community and see how they can support the community. So I thought that was really neat. And then I'll be working on a sick leave policy with them tomorrow. So February 16th was our housing committee meeting, and we had Mark Allen, who is the Director of Development Services in Smithers, share with us, and he gave us an overview of the housing project Smithers has been working on. And yes, a couple of really interesting things came out of it. He shared some of the initiatives that they've been using to stimulate housing. Downtown revitalization tax exemption bylaw. They've got 50 rentals above commercial developments for that. And then something that I thought was really interesting is leasing town-owned property for some BC housing. That was unique. But lots of really good ideas there. February 17th, I met with a fellow named Jerome Langkeek. I think that's his name, and he's with Calibrate Assessment, which is an independent consulting firm that provides consulting services in community health and housing. So that was a very, very interesting meeting, and I know some of the nonprofit housing that's been trying to get some pieces together. I think it was very interesting, that meeting I had with him. So looking excited about that. February 22nd, I met with the RCMP here. February 25th, Todd Doherty, and February 28th, today, District Seminar.
Okay, on the 15th, I had an Instructor Watershed Roundtable Core Committee, Core Committee meeting. That was followed by a co-chair meeting on the 16th. Also on the 16th, I attended the Rio Tinto Snowpack Freshette meeting. It's right on 100% snowpack right now, so I mean that's a very encouraging place to be. It should be a fairly normal year. Then in that evening, I attended an Nechako Waste Reduction Initiative meeting that was focused on bringing the regional district in, seeing what opportunities there were for more recycling, and ICI recycling was the focus of that meeting. On the 17th, I attended a Good Neighbors Committee meeting. They're working on an Honoring Diversity series, trying to look at how to better the community. I again forgot to bring the calls to action booklets. I'll really try for the next meeting. They're sitting on my desk at work. Also that day, I attended a National Indigenous Day Planning meeting. And then on the 22nd, I attended the BCC tour, as everybody else did, and the RCMP meeting here. On the 25th was the meeting with MP Doherty. I thought that went really well. The 25th and the 28th meetings with the Nechako Watershed Roundtable is in partnership with Kawarisa County and SICA's doing a pilot project on the Corkscrew, New Kaitachik, Stony Creek system to see if we can, at that sub watershed or small watershed level, look at if you can look at impacts, look at changes. It's really exciting. It's really scary too, because it's in its infancy, and it is truly a pilot project. It's something that hasn't been done before. So yeah, that's a really exciting thing, but taking up quite a bit of my time right now with a lot of meetings. Then today I was here at the workplace, Respectful Workplace Seminar.
Good. You guys are incredible. I have to say, I don't think there's another town council that does as much that you guys have, a cross section of what you guys have covered. On February 15th, I met with Artemis Gold, and it was with the other mayors in the area, and they were just kind of trying to give us a brief update of where they are. I've got it marked down that I met with Canfor on the 15th. It was the 16th when they called regarding closure of Mill A. Like I say, I'm looking forward to Friday just to hear what is exactly they're talking about. You know, are these already just normal things, vacancies that are going to take place, or is it going to be more than that, something that we need to train for? On the 17th, I met with Deborah Bowman. She was just given, Adrian Carr moved on with Oil and Gas Commission. And so she has been given that job with the BC government LNG implementation. It's an important area to be involved in because we hear that there's another gas line that possibly is going to be coming through here. And we need to learn from the mistakes that we went through on this one. And things, and so on the 22nd, I was involved with the primary care working group, which is Fort St. James, Burns Lake, Fraser Lake, and ourselves. Did the tour of the cultural center on the 22nd. RCMP DOE discussion. I think that was a good discussion, and I believe as we speak right now, we're starting to see some results today of some of the things that we talked to them as far as where we need to be. On the 24th, I had a regional district board meeting, you know, and as well the hospital meeting, and so it's our hospital board taxes are really high St. James, hospital coming in, and we really need to hold it to what's happening there. So, talk later on that. Then on the 25th, myself and the corporate officer met with some of the people. It was a meeting organized by the regional district, just to deal with where exactly the numbers. On the 15th, the numbers are really vague, and we found confusion in the numbers. Sometimes they were talking 30, sometimes they were talking 200, and they were bouncing back and forth. And so anyways, we had a good chat on the 25th, last Friday. It was organized by the regional district and worked through that. Met with Todd Doherty, and then somebody made the suggestion of taking over the RCP office. And many of you have seen the note sent to me by this chief superintendent afterwards, just where the priority is for our office building is with it. And today did the respectful workplace seminar. This seminar is really, really important for those that you didn't attend. We've committed to it, but it was a well worth seminar just to ask some of the questions that we always have. Does anybody have any questions for anybody? Seeing none. Would you like to speak to the next one, the Environment Committee action item on February 10th?
You bet. So basically that's, we have the 2019, December 15th, we did first and second readings to a solid wood or solid fuel bylaw. And then COVID hit and it kind of just died. So what we wanted to do is bring that back to council to look at updating a few things, put it back on the table and go forward from there. And there's a few suggestions in the minutes there, but I mean, that would be what staff would then work on and bring that back to council.
So do you want to make that motion? Is
I'll make that motion.
Yeah.
Seconder?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, questions from the public on any agenda items? Nobody wants to talk about premium pellet? Or should we talk about it? Okay, good. Then correspondence, the Nukai Tapchik Lake Stewardship Society. Guess no of us can just speak to it, but I guess to me is I'm not sure this is something that we should be involved with other than to offer a letter of support. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Well, News was formed in 2003 and then got into a society in 2013, which these are lakes, but the streams that are involved in News, the 31 streams, include Stony Creek and Corkscrew and Go Right. So I'm not knocking this group's ability to put something together at all, but it would be great. And I don't know if Wayne's part of it. Does anybody know? So, yeah, so the question would be is, and you've got something that's quasi covering the creeks, maybe not the lakes. And there's some lake work that's being done in the past on these lakes. So yeah, I don't mind having a letter of support, but I think maybe it's time that maybe we could talk about it at, does it fall under environment, Kevin?
Yeah, well, my thought process is too that we have this pilot project going on with the Chuck Watershed Roundtable and SICA is looking specifically at that system and what's wrong. And if everybody's like got their own hatchet hitting it, is it efficient, right?
That's a great comment, and I think that's could be the issue. You've got two organizations, the Watershed Roundtable, and you've got News. doing stuff on the watershed as a whole. So,
So are you suggesting then that we send back a letter saying that we would encourage them to work with News and the Nechako Watershed Roundtable and to find a solution here? And then we could say, should you require a letter of support for other funding options, would be willing to give you one?
If I was gonna send that letter out, just that in there to make sure work's not being duplicated. And if it isn't being duplicated, then we could offer a letter of support, right?
Yeah.
Let's make sure that.
So we would offer a letter of support should work not being duplicated. These other two organizations. Is that what you're saying?
Sure. I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Yeah. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Yeah, the membership list there is on page, what is that, 13 there.
Yeah.
Okay, premium pellet.
Move to receive. Is that the appropriate? Thank you.
Second that. Did you have a comment?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to pass along the message from the CAO before he left that council could provide comment or not provide comment. So you can move to receive the letter and choose to decline commenting on it, on the application, or you could discuss it and provide comment. And I believe the Environment Committee, there's one member at least online.
Okay. So we're training the council.
I would hope that we don't receive it. I hope we would provide comment because I think it's our duty to. It's going to double their emissions and they have a solution.
Yeah.
I would hope that we comment on the timeline of their solution.
We haven't had an environment committee meeting to deal with this.
No, we could, this timeline was too short.
Oh, okay. That's the only reason I give it to receive so that the environment committee can have a look at it
We were looking
and
at
make
trying-
comment to bring it back to us.
we were going to try and do one tonight. We could, tomorrow night.
Okay,
We couldn't make it work. So that was, the idea was that we invite them to be on the line and we can ask them questions or their thought process if we wish.
that was the only reason to receive, to give the environment committee an opportunity.
Yeah, no, the timeline's too tight.
When does it have to be in? The comments? That was the end of
The town hall is tomorrow night and
comments in by the.
30 days, but when does the 30-day
It
start?
started on, when it went in the paper, I thought they said. So roughly, this
30
is,
days of this letter, and the letter is dated February 11th.
Yeah.
So March of the
Yeah.
12th.
The next meeting's on the 14th. Council, right? I mean, if you want to leave it in the hands of the environment committee and let them speak for council, but that's a little dangerous.
no, but you would surely like to empower the environment.
Oh,
committee.
totally. And that's why they were invited to join us tonight too.
For sure. And so, ultimately, what was put in front of us was, yeah, they need to invest in the scrubber. We haven't had the opportunity to have that discussion either at the environment committee or here. So, if we do that, then we're probably going down the road of talking for an hour to talk about that, and we don't have the information at our hands from that presentation. But if you want to make a recommendation, I'm a fan of the expansion, but I think they need to invest in reducing their emissions up front instead of 2 years later.
Sure.
So if you want to.
So, Wayne, and I can't see that far. Did you say there's a member of the environment committee on the line?
Yes, there is.
Are they hearing us?
I believe so. Mr. Saluski, can you hear the meeting?
Wayne, can you hear us? So
Yeah, Gary, I can hear you.
you can hear me? Okay. Did you have a comment? I'll allow you to make a comment at this time if you'd like.
Well, I thought Kevin captured it in responsibility. It's evident that doubling is going to have another consequence. You all know my neighbor down the street who tells me daily in the summertime he can't go outside, even in Vanderhoof, period, unless it's a good air day. So I'm speaking on behalf of him, but then just the logic of it all to me is it's responsible to have a hard look at it, because double is double. What are we measuring for if we're not going to put a line somewhere on that issue? I'm with Brian. We want this expansion. It's good for us, but they have to pony up.
So anyway, so am I sensing that the motion to receive is not what we want to do? We want to make a motion that we believe that they need to invest in the scrubbers in advance. Is that what?
So should we vote down the motion to receive and then make another
Did
motion?
we second it?
It was seconded.
Yes, it was second.
Yeah.
Okay, so in favor of receiving, opposed? Okay, defeated. Okay.
So I'll make that motion that we reply to them saying that we're really excited that they're expanding and that they're going to, yeah. But we really feel that the mitigation has to be sped up, however you word that.
Yeah, I'll second that. I'll second that. And yeah, this, whatever it is it precipitator?
Yeah, it's a precipitator.
Precipitator needs to be put in now rather than,
Before they increase their emissions.
yeah, because that's not fair to the residents to allow the doubling of the 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is, it's not, the motion isn't that it will be sped up, it's that the precipitator will be
put in
installed
Before.
prior to the expansion. Is that right?
The startup of,
Coming online, yeah.
yeah, coming online. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not prior to the expansion, but coming online. So when it starts up, the precipitator's got to be in. We just can't do that to the,
No.
to,
Our airship can't take it.
no.
Well, I'm gonna ask you, did you want to make a comment on this? Paul? Yeah.
Oh, good. I have COPD. I strongly vote for this.
You know about the public comments tomorrow night, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to say something though to align that with our philosophy around the airshed? Like, because right now you're just saying, so why? Because the District of Vanderhoof is working to limit or to minimize the impact on airsheds. Like, do we want to tie that in or not?
For sure, and maybe the easiest way out, and I'm not pointing to the chair of the Environment Committee, but maybe that could be created through the chair as well. Yeah, I think you have a good idea. Create that letter so it's just not going out from, please, all due respect to staff, but I agree with you. You need to say it the right way, that you're in favor of the development, and
But I mean,
it can be shot around to all of us for that.
because we definitely have to let them know that it has to reflect. The community is going in this direction, both in water and air sheds, right?
Yeah.
And so if we do that, if we don't do this, it's not aligning with our philosophy moving forward. It's not. So
I'm mentioning that we're tired of having the third or being in the top worst three airsheds in the province, and anything that steps the other direction isn't acceptable, right? Or,
Yeah, we don't really probably need to have to say we're tired, just.
I think it's a priority for us.
Going a different direction
So that letter can be
is
written.
not acceptable.
by somebody that can speak better than me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Somebody smarter than me.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. So does part of your motion want to be that the letter come from the chair of the Environment Committee or from council?
I
Council.
think it needs to be from council.
Just
We want input from the environment committee. But
Yeah.
I think yes.
That, if we could say that, I guess to me is, when is your environment?
The time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be really cutting it. It's the 10th of Friday?
No.
The issue becomes that the 10th is the environment meeting, but when do we, the 14th is council.
Yeah.
So we would make a recommendation from the environment to go to council for endorsement. That's why the receive was. Yeah. Anyway, this is a good motion.
Okay.
It will be when Ethan's done with it anyway.
Yes, it will.
And then you were relieved.
Somebody will figure it
They'll
out.
arm wrestle tomorrow is what was said. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. A Indigenous Day in-kind request.
So this is the more concise list of what the ask is. Really exciting. Yeah, really exciting. They're looking at bringing in snide-nosed res kits, as I had mentioned. They're also looking at bringing in a skateboarder whose name escapes me right now. I should have it.
I know which guy you're talking about. He
Yes.
designs boards and works with kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So a really good kickoff, and probably one of the first events to come back post-COVID or living with COVID. So I would really encourage that we go ahead and run with this.
Great. That's your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? So is this on the 21st of June?
It is on the 21st.
So when this is being advertised, it's going to say Kersey County, Saigas First Nation, and District of Vanderhoof.
Yes.
Partnership.
It is going to Saigas' council tomorrow night. So we're still, the chess pieces are still a little bit moving, but we will be considered a sponsor of it. And it's going to be a Carriacou County All Nation event, so hosted by Vanderhoof and Saigas.
Because I just thought saying Vanderhoof, so I was going to say District of Vanderhoof or Vanderhoof, because anyway, it doesn't matter, I guess, but I just thought,
Yeah.
then we can have our logos on, it's sort of
Exactly.
doing all these things together. It's a good way to show the partnerships, right? So.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
That guy's name is Joe Buffalo.
Yes, it is Joe Buffalo.
Okay, UBCM Emergency Preparedness Grant Application.
Mr. Mayor, the next three, 11.1, 2, and 3, are all looking for council resolutions of support for grant applications for the various projects.
11.1. Somebody willing to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Have we heard anything on this one as to if it will go ahead or anything of that?
I'm sorry, whether the grant application?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all three of them are ready to go. They're just waiting for the resolutions.
Yeah. But we don't know what our opportunity is on the first
No,
one.
not yet. Not on the first one, no.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 11.2.
I'll move the recommendation for 11.2.
Seconder?
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 11.3.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, 11.4, flag guideline policy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That is a policy that started off a protocol. We thought we'd bring it to council as a policy since it involves the Canadian and provincial flags as well. And I can answer any questions you may have about the report.
Any questions? I have a question. Is there not a website that, and I didn't see that in here, that it referred to that site?
Under the governance, that rules for half-masting, that's the link to the Government of Canada's website.
Okay.
And the other one is the link to the province of BC's website. It's just hard to print them and attach them for
Okay,
for
sorry.
viewing, but they're both They're protocols and best practices. There's no law about them, but the federal protocols are pretty stringent, so.
Okay. Move it, second.
Second that.
Still feels wrong to burn a flag in private here.
Yeah.
Retired.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And the next one, Mr. Mayor, is the subdivision servicing bylaw business case. The report is there with the recommendation, and staff is here to answer any questions you have.
Glad we're updating 1992. Not much has changed in 1992.
Yeah, I always say every third of the century, we should update our bylaw.
It's a good year to graduate.
It was a good year to be born.
Yeah, definitely time for an update.
I move
Wanna
we,
make this motion?
move we adopt the recommendation.
I'll second.
Trying to see in here, how long a process is it to go through this?
It'll take a little bit. It, probably wouldn't be likely adopted until probably late summer, fall, probably, most likely.
In this term of council?
We would definitely, we're hoping so, yeah.
I'd hate to do all this work and then and get to the new council and go, I tell you what, 30 years ago that.
It sets everything in motion as soon as you get past it, but,
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, there's a recommendation that council hold an encounter meeting needed following the adjournment of the 28th council meeting, and that meeting goes to the public pursuant to the community charter to discuss labor relations. And land under sections 91C and E, and further that all persons other than the mayor and councilors and clerks.
Sure, yeah, maybe.
All in favor? Motion to adjourn the regular council.
That.
All in favor? Carried. Thanks. You guys want to just keep on going or?